$10 million. That's the price on one man's head. The same bounty that the US government put on Osama bin Laden. And right now, the internet is exploding with news about what he's done. His name is Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, but the world knows him as El Mencho, the ghost leader of the most violent cartel on the planet. For years, he's been invisible. No photos, no sightings. Some people think he's already dead, but the bodies keep piling up. So who is El Mencho? Why is he so feared that entire cities shut down when his name is mentioned? What's happening right now that has millions of people searching his name? And most importantly, why should you care? Before we talk about recent events, you need to understand who we're dealing with here. El Mencho isn't just any criminal. He's the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, known as CJNG. This organization has become one of the most powerful and violent drug trafficking groups in Mexico, and honestly, in the entire world. Born in 1966 in Michoacan, Mexico, El Mencho started from humble beginnings. He actually lived in the United States for a while, working regular jobs in California. But eventually he got involved in the drug trade and was even arrested in the 1990s. After serving time, he was deported back to Mexico. And that's where things really took a dark turn. Back in Mexico, El Mencho didn't just join the drug trade, he transformed it. In the early 2000s, he formed the CJNG, and they quickly became known for something terrifying: extreme violence. We're not just talking about typical criminal activity here. This organization became infamous for attacking police, military personnel, and even innocent civilians. The US government is so desperate to catch him that they're offering a $10 million reward. Yes, you heard that right. $10 million for information leading to his arrest. That's the same amount they offered for Osama bin Laden. That should tell you everything you need to know about how dangerous this man is considered to be. Now here's where things get really dark, and this is important context for understanding recent events. The CJNG isn't like traditional organized crime groups. They use tactics that are designed to terrorize, to make people so afraid that they won't cooperate with authorities or rival groups. They've attacked government officials, ambushed police convoys, and even shot down military helicopters. Yes, you heard that correctly, helicopters. They're also known for something particularly disturbing. They document their violence and share it online. They film their crimes and post them on social media as a way to intimidate rivals and authorities. This is psychological warfare in the digital age. The cartel operates across Mexico, but has its stronghold in Jalisco state, which is where the name comes from. However, their reach extends far beyond Mexico. They have operations in the United States, Europe, Asia, and Australia. They traffic drugs, primarily methamphetamine, cocaine, and fentanyl, across the globe. And that last one, fentanyl, that's particularly important for those of us in the United States. The opioid crisis that's devastating communities across America? The CJNG is one of the major suppliers of fentanyl coming across the southern border. This isn't just a Mexican problem. This affects all of us. Now let's talk about what's happening right now and why the internet is exploding with news about El Mencho and his cartel. Over the past several months, there have been multiple reports of brutal violence linked to the CJNG that have shocked even those who follow cartel news regularly. Recent reports indicate a surge in violence in several Mexican states, particularly in areas where the CJNG is fighting rival cartels for control. We're talking about Guanajuato, Zacatecas, and of course, Jalisco. The numbers are staggering. Hundreds of people have been killed in what authorities believe are cartel-related murders just this year. What's particularly disturbing is the targeting of young people. There have been reports of mass killings at bars, restaurants, and even rehabilitation centers. These aren't targeted hits on rival cartel members. These are attacks on regular people, often young adults who were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. The internet exploded when videos and images from these crime scenes started circulating on social media. And this is where we need to talk about something important: the ethics of sharing this content. People are sharing these graphic images and videos, and there's a debate about whether this serves a purpose, like raising awareness, or whether it's just exploitation and disrespect to the victims and their families. Personally, I think we can discuss these issues without sharing graphic content. The families of these victims are real people who are suffering unimaginable pain. You might be wondering, why is violence escalating right now? What's changed? The answer is complicated, but it comes down to a few key factors. First, there's been a major crackdown by Mexican authorities on several cartels. When you pressure these organizations, they don't just surrender, they fight back, and they fight dirty. The Mexican government has had some success in capturing or killing leaders of rival cartels, and the CJNG is trying to fill that power vacuum. Second, there's competition. The CJNG is battling the Sinaloa cartel and other groups for control of drug trafficking routes. These routes, the paths they use to smuggle drugs into the United States and other countries, are worth billions of dollars, literally billions. So these groups will do anything to control them. Third, and this is important, the demand for drugs hasn't gone away. As long as there's massive demand for illegal drugs, especially in the United States, there will be people willing to supply them, and those suppliers will fight over who gets to make those profits. It's also worth noting that El Mencho himself hasn't been seen publicly in years. There are constant rumors about his health, his whereabouts, and even whether he's still alive. Some people think he might have diabetes or kidney problems, but without him showing up publicly, it's hard to know what's true and what's speculation. Let's take a moment to talk about something that often gets lost in these discussions: the real human beings affected by this violence. We're not just talking about statistics or numbers on a page. Every single one of these murders represents a person, someone's son or daughter, someone's parent, someone's friend. These are people who had dreams, plans, and loved ones. In Mexico, there are entire communities living in fear. Parents are afraid to let their children go to school. Business owners are forced to pay protection money or face consequences. Young people see violence as normal because it's all they've ever known. And then there are the migrants, people trying to escape this violence who risk everything to find safety, only to face dangerous journeys and uncertain futures. There are also the journalists, the brave men and women who try to report on these stories. Mexico is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for journalists. Many have been killed for trying to tell the truth about what's happening. Let's not forget the law enforcement officers and military personnel who are trying to fight these cartels. Many of them are honest people trying to do the right thing, and they're risking their lives every single day. Some are underpaid and under-equipped, facing off against cartels that have military-grade weapons. So what's being done to stop this? What are governments doing about El Mencho and the CJNG? The Mexican government, under President Claudia Sheinbaum, has continued military operations against cartels. They've deployed thousands of National Guard troops to hotspots of violence. They've had some successes, arresting mid-level leaders and seizing drugs and weapons. But here's the problem: it's not enough. The cartels are incredibly adaptable. When you arrest one leader, another one steps up. When you shut down one drug route, they find another. It's like trying to fight a hydra. Cut off one head and two more grow back. The United States is also involved. The DEA and other agencies work with Mexican authorities to track cartel operations. They monitor financial transactions, intercept communications, and share intelligence. The U.S. has also sanctioned cartel members and their businesses, trying to cut off their money supply. But again, as long as there's demand for drugs and as long as these organizations can make billions of dollars, they're going to find ways to operate. Some experts argue that the war on drugs approach has failed and that we need new strategies, maybe focusing more on reducing demand, treating addiction as a health issue rather than a criminal one, or even considering different approaches to drug policy altogether. But that's a complicated debate with strong opinions on all sides. Let's talk about the internet's role in all of this, because it's actually pretty significant. On one hand, the internet has helped expose what's happening. When mainstream media doesn't cover these stories, social media fills the gap. People on the ground can share what's really happening in their communities. That awareness is important. But there's a dark side too. The cartels use social media for their own purposes, to spread fear, to recruit, and to communicate. When people share graphic cartel videos, they're actually helping the cartels spread their message of terror. That's exactly what these organizations want. There's also a weird phenomenon where some people, especially young people, romanticize cartel life. They see the money, the power, and the reputation, But they don't see the reality, the violence, the betrayal, and the fact that most people in this life end up dead or in prison. Social media platforms are trying to control cartel content, but it's a never-ending battle. Videos get taken down and then re-uploaded somewhere else. It spreads faster than they can control it. This story isn't over. El Mencho is still out there. The CJNG is still operating. The violence continues. But by understanding what's happening and why, we're better equipped to think critically about solutions. Thank you so much for watching. If this video gave you something to think about, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this.